Hey, what's up? This is Jamal Abbott here to talk to you today about porting phone numbers to your 8x8 phone system. So, I will show you what I currently have as far as licenses. So, I'm in the admin console. So, actually, let me go back. You click this to go into the admin console, which will take you to this main screen. From this screen, I'm going to go to licenses, and then you're going to see the total number of licenses that I have available in my phone system. So for additional local numbers, this is the section where I can take a number and then have that apply to a device or have that apply to something like an auto attendant or a ring group. So where it currently sits right now, I have no additional licenses. So before I add another phone number to my phone system, I need to add a license. So now I'm going to go back to the application panel, and then I'm going to click on my 8x8, which will take me to this support portal to allow me to buy a license for my 8x8 phone system. So I'm going to this area here where it says shop. And then once this screen loads up, we're going to look at the product catalog and we're going to go down to this additional section here. Once we click on additional, there's an option here for additional local number. If I click on that, it tells me what this number is used for. I'm going to add this to the cart. And now I want to check out. There is the final price. This is going to be a monthly recurring charge. And I'm going to go ahead and say that I want to check this out completely. I will continue. And we will click to agree and buy. And now it's just a matter of getting this added to my phone system. So we're going to take a look at that in this next scene. We are back in the admin console, and now we're going to take a look at our licenses. So we go to licenses, and we see here that the additional local number license from what you saw in the previous scene has increased from 2 to 3. So I have 3 here. Currently have 2 assigned, and once again, these are regular phone numbers that I can use for my phone system. So now I'm in a good spot. I'm going to go ahead and start the process of porting my number. So I'm going to click on this home button here, and I'm going to go to phone numbers. On the screen, I have the available phone numbers for my phone system, and at this point, I want to port a phone number. And just if you're not sure what porting a phone number is, that's literally moving a phone number from one service provider to another. And in this instance, we're going to move that from Google over to 8x8. So there's a pre-check here. It wants you to know that, hey, you have to have these things in order first before you attempt this port. Otherwise, if you don't have that information in place, you may have some delays with your service getting ported over. The other thing too about this is that you can't have any other special features like call forwarding, distinctive rings, or anything like that that could prevent this number from being ported. So just a couple things to keep in mind as you're in the process of porting this number. So I own this number essentially, so I'm going to go ahead and click continue. And it's going to give me some information here. So I'll fill this out. You don't need to be bored with watching me do this part here. Here's the basic billing information. So enter in the authorized first and last name, the company, the address for this location, and then click continue when you're done. On the next screen, this is the place where you're going to actually specify the numbers that you want to port over. So you need the information for the service provider, the billing telephone number, and then the numbers that you may want to port. So that could be a couple numbers that you may want to port, or maybe a couple hundred numbers. All depends on how you're currently set up. So I'll go ahead and run through this section. So you see that there's quite a few choices that you have here, and mine is under other. The service provider here is Google, so we'll click save. I will enter in the billing telephone number. And then I'm also going to enter in the phone number that I want to port over. Once you do that, make sure you click enter. Otherwise, it won't take that as an option. So that's there. And if you notice, I'm going to pop up a little screenshot here in just a little bit. When I didn't have enough licenses for this, it gave me a little warning basically saying that I need to free up a number before I could port this over. But since I've added that number, added additional local numbers from my 8x8, that warning sign is no longer here, and I can proceed on with getting my number ported. Preferred port date. So this is the date that we would like our numbers to be ported. It's not a guarantee thing, but it's something that you can just specify. And it's telling me here that they're going to send me a confirmation email once it's settled with my previous service provider. So we'll see what kind of dates we have here. So it looks like the earliest that we can do is next Monday. So I'll go ahead and select that. And it says manually assign temporary numbers. So if we click that option, it says we can have temporary numbers assigned during the porting process. I don't necessarily need temporary numbers assigned. That might be more applicable if I have some phones that are already active and I want them to have numbers assigned just so that they can make and receive calls. In this situation, I don't necessarily need that. So I'm just going to go ahead and click continue here. All right, so we have this final information, and we have this letter of authorization, and this is going to go out to Google, basically letting them know that I want to transfer my number to 8x8, and this is my desire. I'm going to check this box saying that I agree, and click this box saying that I agree, and click that. And then I can have a specific email. I will click continue for that because that looks good to me. And congratulations, this has been submitted, and I'm going to get an email with some updates. And at this point, I can print my letter of authorization. So that's there. This is the information for the port order. So this is my number that's going to be transferred. It has assigned me a temporary number, and I can use that, like I said, and then now the status is pending. So at this point, we're done. We're gonna have to wait until around the 16th. So we're gonna do a little video magic, and you're gonna be up to the point to where the port has completed in this next scene. And we're gonna see how that number port has gone. Before we check the status of the port, just want to highlight a couple things to let you know that I did receive some additional emails for my number port. This first email is just to let me know that the port request has been received by 8x8, and they're going to verify some information and going to get the number ported. There's some successful tips down here too, so this is definitely important for you to keep in mind. Do not cancel service for your old service provider. That's going to interrupt the port process, and then make sure that any features are disabled. So something that we talked about on the previous scene. So this email did come from 8x8, and here's another email that said that the port was going to be scheduled for the 16th. And once again, some tips to make sure that the port is successful. So that took place. And then finally, we got an email on the 16th letting me know that the phone number port has been completed. So here's a number. It talks about any temporary numbers that have been removed in the process, and to basically for me to check out how that is working in my phone system. So I'm back in the admin console. I'm going to check phone numbers. And at this screen, now you see here that my number is present and available in my phone system. So you see the status here shows that the number source is port. So that is indicating that this number was ported over into the 8x8 phone system, and that the external caller ID is disabled. I can actually change that to use a different caller ID source if I want to. And what this looks like ultimately to assign this to another device, we'll just kind of do that here real quick. We're going to jump to an auto attendant that I have in the phone system. And now I'm going to assign the phone number to this auto attendant. So going to save this. And now if I call my number 702-577-2798, it's going to ring, it's going to hit the auto attendant, and now it's totally mine. It's not attached to Google anymore, and it has been ported successfully. So that's how you port a phone number. If any questions, definitely leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.